I think for me, that some of the most astonishing data that came out of Roland Griffiths' lab was they did a survey of people who'd had high dose DMT experiences and encountered some kind of being or presence or entity, which is very common with high dose DMT.
Yes.
And they had a few thousand people take part, and they looked at their prior and post spiritual orientation. And of those people who previously were atheists, who took DMT, had a breakthrough, and encountered an entity, less than half of them remained atheist afterwards. Okay. And this is a
Wow.
10-minute psychedelic
Yeah.
experience, right? Which is can be so profound that it can convert more than half of all atheists into non-atheists, right?
Yeah.
So that for me is like pretty astonishing. It's hard to argue with those kind of statistics.
I know it is. It's hard to argue. And you have also done some research with DMT, yeah?
Yeah, quite a bit over the years,
Yes.
and is in ways in which I can, which is it's an astonishing molecule in many ways. It's naturally occurring. It's widely distributed throughout nature. We have it in our own bodies.
Mm.
We're not quite sure exactly where it's produced or what it's for. And when people take it and introduce it into their body at the right dosage, they have very reliably very profound experiences and typically encounter beings, of
Mm.
some variety, which the majority of people perceive to be real, not
Yeah.
just in the experience, but afterwards when they come out of the experience, and hence the spiritual reorientation that people often have. It's an
Yeah.
astonishing. It's a it's
Yeah.
an
What would you say? I know it's a hard thing to ask a researcher, but with DMT specifically, what would you say is one of the most astonishing things you have seen?
um my own personal experiences or
Yeah.
those of the
Yeah.
team. I mean, I guess I can only really talk, I mean, about my own experiences in a way. And I don't really want to do that, but no, I will. I mean, it is absolutely mind-blowing that you
Yeah.
can have this 10-minute experience, which is impossible to really adequately describe. If you're trying to tell somebody, okay, this is what happens, they kind of might partially understand what you're talking about, but then when they have the experience, they're like, your description of it in no way prepares that person
Mm.
adequately for the kind of experience they're going to have, because it is beyond our imagination and kind of beyond our ability to imagine how astonished we can be, right? It's absolutely mind-blowing when you have these encounters uh, in this completely other world, which you've just been instantly transported to.
Right.
They feel
In like a rocket ship.
absolutely, it's like being, was it once described as being, it's like being fired out of an atomic cannon with neon
Totally.
time barreling. It's like
Through
very
the
high,
you're just like hurtling through the mortal coil.
super fast. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly that. And the experiences are just deeply astonishing and profound. Um, and they kind of almost fit into this category of it's ineffable. It's hard to kind of put into
Yeah.
words, but we do try, and we try and map these experiences and try and discover the topography of the DMT landscape and taxonomize its flora and fauna and fungi, and we still don't understand it. We've kind
Yeah.
of got a bit of a map to these places. I guess one of the most astonishing things that tends to occur is that people independently and naively can go into this DMT realm and have experiences, and they'll encounter similar seeming beings to other people.
Mm.
For instance, like a large proportion of people will have encounters with like what they describe as elves or pixies or gnomes. Maybe like a quarter of people will have that encounter.
Yeah.
And then there's even more astonishing encounters that people may have as well. And it doesn't make sense in a reductive scientific way. Oh, maybe there's just some part of your brain which is wired to see pixies, and it presses that button. Okay, that it's not particularly satisfactory as an explanation. So things like DMT really beg the question, what is the nature of reality? What's the nature of consciousness? What are the limits of experience? How much can we actually understand this stuff with a scientific perspective? I mean, and we can, but we have to acknowledge that science is just a method of study, not a belief system. And I think a
Totally.
lot of struggle with that. Yeah.